So, a few days ago, Valve announced their second call to Arms-ory right after the Armory rotation we received on July 8th, 2026. And now, because this is our second call to Arms-ory that we've experienced since the Armory being a thing in CS2, we can now read a little bit deeper, read in between the lines, and see what's going on next, in their heads at least, at Valve. Because it seemed like a request the first time around, right? They needed 2 collections last time, Arabesque, Spy Tech. They needed 2 sticker collections, but we still thought about charms leaving. We still thought about other things going. But when that rotation actually came to fruition, we received exactly that. 2 collections swapped, Arabesque Spy Tech in, Train, Sport, and Field out, and we had 2 sticker collections removed, Sugar Face and the Elemental Craft stickers, and those were replaced by the Fruit and Vegetables and Auto Racing stickers. So let's see if there's any common patterns between this call to Arms-ory and the previous one, and see how Valve goes about this current Armory rotation, and what it can mean for the Armory in the future. Because I do think it's going to receive a pretty large structural change.
Thank you Skins.com for sponsoring this video. Skins.com is a P2P trading site with options for insta withdrawal or insta purchasing if you so choose. If you're looking to exit, Skins.com has got you covered. Cash out from a wide array of different methods, including wire transfer, bank transfer, crypto, or Skrill. Come along and be a part of the next generation of CS2 skin marketplaces with Skins.com.
Before we get a little bit deeper, I added new fonts to CS2 Liquid. So if you don't like the font, go crazy. There's the CS2 font that's like straight from the game, and there's like some random fucking font I found online. So go nuts. So last time, exactly what was requested in the Armory was the exact things taken out to replace it with. Now, that could be purely coincidental, and I think it is, because I do think it's going to be a little bit different this time around. The one that I don't think is coincidental is the Fairy Tale collection that they asked the workshop submitters to make skins for, because it is pretty obvious. I think Overpass is going to leave this current rotation, right? It will be 2 years at the, suspected Armory rotation date. And with the souvenir update, you can still open Overpass 2024 cases. So if there really is demand for those skins in the way that Valve thinks they are, well, you have those souvenir cases to, accompany that if Overpass is taken out. But since the first call to Arms-ory was the very first one, no one knew about it before, thus people weren't submitting things for it. I do think it's going to change a little bit, specifically with the charms. Now, the first call to Arms-ory announced that they made the Dr. Boom community charms widely available for workshop usage. But they didn't explicitly ask for the Dr. Boom charms with the newest call to Arms-ory. And that's because I don't think they need to, right? They gave community workshop creators a brand new tool to work with. They were probably more than happy to make some charms associated with the Dr. Boom things. So they probably already have a set ready to go. I doubt they had to even ask for more to be submitted, right? And if you don't believe me, look at the last community charm set, right? There was no call to Arms-ory asking for those. They just simply released it to the workshop as a new asset. People used it, people made things, and then Valve released a a Missing Link community charm set. So I do think we're going to receive those in the next Armory update. But it'll probably stop there unless Valve adds a new asset class to charms, like maybe Small Arms 2, in which, each one is different, so you can't really have workshop creators make those. So I think there is a real chance that the Armory of next rotation will have 3 charm collections instead of 4, right? They gave the first 2 ones 2 years to breathe and settle. I guess it's because of the 100,000 patterns, such a wide variety there. They wanted to make sure there was enough of each pattern, I guess, or maybe enough of each pattern basket, like 0 to 10,000, 10,000 to 20,000, etc. We don't know the supply numbers of these charms because we can't look at any database to find out. You can only look at applications, but of course that's not indicative of the entire picture. That's really more indicative of popularity of each respective charm. But if charm collections go from 4 to 3, well, that's going to kind of saturate that market, right? You're gonna have more stars going into 3 as opposed to the last rotation, which had the same amount of stars going into 4. So I think that that'll be compensated by the sticker collections, right? Currently we have 2 brand new sticker collections, and we have 2 new requested sticker collections, right? Pop Art and Cryptids, whatever, and there's only 1 older sticker collection, and it would be the community stickers, which have been in there for around a year at this point. Now, we know Valve isn't afraid to remove stuff that isn't performing well. Sugar Face 2 was the worst performing thing, I think, in the history of the Armory so far, and it was removed promptly in 6 months. So because of that, I think that they will remove those community stickers and then add the 2 new stickers, keep auto racing, keep fruits and vegetables, unless one of them performs really, really badly, but I doubt they're performing terribly, at least to the degree of Sugar Face 2, just because there's such a wide variety of them. Thus, there's got to be something in either collection that at least people like, thus they would chase it and spend money on it in the form of stars. So I don't necessarily think that those are going to go in 6 months like Sugar Face 2. That was a smaller capsule, less things, thus less, appeal to the masses, and they're all kind of look the same anyway. So I think that charms will go from 4 to 3 collections, and stickers will go from 3 right now to 4. You'll have the auto racing, the fruits and vegetables, and the new ones, Pop Art and Cryptids, and that'll replace the extra charm slot that was left up from this rotation, in theory. Now, again, I do think that the Armory rotation was delayed because of something, right? We don't know the exact reasoning behind it, but it just doesn't really make any sense for them to delay and kill sentiment, because obviously that's going to downstream affect their bottom line. So I do think there was something at play here, and I think the most telling thing of that was just how quickly all Valve games received loot box chance-based adjacent things in their games as soon as July started, for whatever reason, right? TF2 got that update that we spoke about in a few videos ago, and then we got the Armory rotation a day or 2 later, which is chance-based, right? There's no animations, but it's still the same thing, as well as the Jackass capsule, right? Previously, before that, we got this Cologne sticker shop. We had no souvenir packages in the latest major as well, and on top of that, we got those music kits in like April or something, or May maybe, and they had a asset in the game for an actual loot box with the music kits in it, but we didn't get that, right? You have to buy the music kits individually. So all of these months and months of just non-chance based things coming into the game, and then as soon as July hits or a random date, whatever it may have been, we get all of these chance-based items, not just in CS2, but in other Valve games as well. So I think that there's something telling there. I think that there was something going on behind the scenes that they obviously weren't able to reveal or had, no explicit gain from revealing it. Which leads me to think that despite their, fray away from the current or previous pattern that they had established in the Armory and in CS2 in general, right? Everything kind of goes off a 6-month basis, right? New seasons, cases, terminals come out every 6 months. The Armory rotation was every 6 months until this point. So it leads me to believe that they'll try to get back on schedule with releasing this Call to Armory so early, right? They released the Armory rotation in October of last year, and then they did the Call to Armory in December, 2 months after, right? Well, here we are in July, and we get this Call to Armory, in reality, a day after the Armory rotation, but if it had happened in April, like it should have been, it would have been similar timelines, right, with the Call to Armory. So part of me thinks that this is just going to be a one-time blip, and that there will be this rotation in October-ish, Q4 2026. And if they keep doing this pattern, they establish this pattern, and they do, this new Call to Armory in December and then July of every year, and then you have one collection and a couple new sticker collections, I think you have an interesting future for the Armory, right? In terms of rotations and in terms of collection time in the actual Armory, right? If they establish this pattern, right? You have Arabesque, Spy Tech, right? Overpass leaves, and then you have this new one, right? Arabesque and Spy Tech are 3 months old. They'll have no novelty anymore because there's a new collection sitting right next to it, which makes those 2 collections even better by proxy. And then on top of that, you'll have another Call to Armory for the next year, 2027, May, June, July, August fucking launch. And then you'll have another collection either come in or replace one if one's underperforming. And then you have a constant cycle of at least one collection being taken out, a couple new sticker collections, a couple new charm collections coming in. And I think that collections can have an interesting place, Armory collections, in that they'll be very short-lived and have short supply, but that's because there's going to be an ever-rotating catalog of them, such that you don't want too much supply of any collection because you're going to eventually saturate the market, right? There is a point in time where there'll be a lot of skins, right? There'll be like 200 AK skins. So how is anyone going to have any inherent value? Well, you're going to need to create scarcity amongst those. So if Valve adopts this new system of constantly rotating with the Call to Armory, sometimes adding their own stuff as well, shaking it up pattern-wise, I think this is an actual interesting outlook for the future of the Armory, right? People are hung up about, this current Armory rotation. They're gonna sit there and complain. You have to remember these people online are losers generally, and thus most of their opinions should be ignored, because if their opinions mattered, they would talk about it in real life and people would listen. They don't, so they scream into the void on the internet. So in general, I think that this could be a interesting outlook. If they continue this pattern of the Call to Arms-ory coming out every few or so months, then you could have a really cool system here, right? Where things come in, they live there for a year, and they're taken out promptly. If you don't like the new collection, well, you know that there's going to be another one in a couple of months, thus you could just save up your stars for that. I personally think this would be a really good way in which to handle the Armory, because it does invite itself for oversupply, and it does invite itself for saturation, right? With operations, which basically function like the Armory, at least there was like breaks in between operations. So after these 3 collections were removed and subsequently discontinued, well, you had time, 6 months or so in between operations to trade things up and get rid of some of those skins. But when you have a constantly rotating thing, there's always something new and something shinier, and so you ignore the last collection, so you don't have any trade up pressure happening. You have nothing going on with these older collections, and thus those just sit there, they gain dust, and then a couple years later they start to increase in price again. But that's not really sustainable. I think you're just having an ever rotating catalog such that people are never enamored by new things too much, and then they just, it just continually cycles. I don't really know how to explain it very well, obviously. I just sound like a fucking moron now. But you should understand the gist of what I'm saying, right? The only thing that remains is that we still haven't gotten a case. I do think a case is going to come in the next Armory rotation. It didn't in this one, but the TF2 thing kind of sealed it for me. I think obviously TF2 is easier to get away with that shit, right? People aren't chasing TF2 for lawsuits and scandals, right? CS2 is the one that brings the headlines. It's the one that brings the clicks. So, you can't really compare them overtly, but I still think they run parallel to each other, and you'll probably get some loot box in CS2 in the future. I do think terminals are still going to be the cases coming out for the active pools, but I do think there'll be another Armory case soon. And if they're not asking for that case in the Call to Arms-ory, I do think that they'll just announce the Fever case leaving blindly, and then people will be caught off guard by that. So if you did buy Fever cases in anticipation of last rotation, I would just kind of hold on to them. There really is no difference there. It is oversupplied, so I would just sell on that hype and just get out of your position. And if you're up right now, well, then you can also just leave. I don't think it's going to be super profitable in the short term. It's interesting to see how they'll go with the Armory, or go about the Armory in the future. And I think if they do this like constant release schedule, I don't think you'll ever get an operation at this point. This is the operation, and that's fine. Peace. Do this like constant release schedule, I don't think you'll ever get an operation at this point. This is the operation, and that's fine. Peace.